Hi everyone, Harry here to talk about a really important story in the Washington Post from yesterday, Wednesday, about just a continuing showdown, tension, and conflict between the FBI and the DOJ involving the Trump search of Mar-a-Lago. This is a really significant piece of reporting that adds to and illuminates our whole understanding of the chronology of what happened in the whole search and the preamble to the search of Mar-a-Lago. Quickly review the bidding. Trump leaves office with all these documents, basically hides it for months until the National Archives says what's going on. Thereafter, hides it for another bobs and weaves. I'll give it to you tomorrow. The dog ate it for 15 months, at which point a subpoena is served and a prosecutor who's sort of leading what is then, remember, a counter-espionage investigation to find out what he's got and what are the consequences. Jay Bratt goes down to Mar-a-Lago, has an encounter with Evan Corcoran, gets that signed attestation that Corcoran has made a junior lawyer named Christina Bobb sign, saying, we've looked everywhere, and they take it back, and then they learn that, in fact, that's a lie, or at least false, and that's what leads to the application to a magistrate for a warrant for probable cause and the execution of the search in August. Well, we now know that behind the scenes, all leading up to that, there was a really tense and intransigent standoff between the FBI and the DOJ. And this is something that I can say my sort of experience both as a U.S. attorney, but also at Maine Justice really illuminates. So the FBI they do the investigating, and they like to protect their prerogative of, well, we investigate, we decide, what to do, then it goes over to the prosecution. Now, it's a well-known fact that the FBI is A, politically conservative, more so than the DOJ, and B, even more than they're politically conservative, public relations conscious, including letting decisions be influenced by it, really concerned about how things will play in the press. And here they are continually resisting and pushing back on the department's efforts to do a search or just to treat Trump as a normal defendant. So part of it, they say, are the hard lessons learned from the Mueller, Trump, and the Clinton cases, but there are a series of meetings where the Bureau is basically telling the department it doesn't want to do a non-consensual search of Trump. He's the president, and it will be taken badly. There'll be PR problems and the like. And the guy who is the main sort of FBI person here who's working in, his name's Steve D'Antuono, and he, we've seen him before because he's the guy who told the press that the FBI never received any advance warning of anything other than First Amendment activity on January 6th. That is just false and sort of scandalously false. All the whole point is, that we should be investigating, and now people maybe are, at least they know, as the FBI did receive advance warning. In fact, D'Antuono himself later amended what he said to say, I received something January 5th and passed it on. Flagrantly inconsistent. The inconsistency's never been explained. But back to this. So I want you to picture sort of a series of tense meetings now. In theory, the DOJ is in charge. A U.S. attorney in that district can eventually put his or her foot down and say, here's how it's going to be to the FBI chief agent. But the FBI zealously protects its prerogatives, will push back and fight back. As I say, part of the theme here is the, definitely more conservative orientation of the FBI. If I could do a quick aside here, something that's always kind of rankled me. There were a couple FBI agents who really foolishly, they were having an affair, remember, and they foolishly had an email that was anti-Trump. One said to the other, "Don't worry," after the election, etc. And it's always just blown my mind that the province made such a big deal about it, because I am extremely confident, would bet the farm, that if they looked in the trove of FBI messages, texts, emails at the time, they would have found 50 times and 50 times nastier and vulgar emails and texts about Hillary. But be that as it may, that's never come to light. But it's always something that I felt when people made a big deal about these two, yes, inappropriate emails from those agents. Anyway, back to where we are on the whole Mar-a-Lago thing. So there's these series of meetings where basically eventually D'Antuono, is grudgingly persuaded that there is probable cause that Trump is hot as, there's fruits of a crime. What crime? Obstruction, having taken these things. And nevertheless, D'Antuono is strongly lobbying for a consensual search, the kind of thing that they've, done recently with Biden and Pence, calling up, Mr. President, just wanted to let you know, would it be okay if we dropped by Tuesday and had a little look around, see if there were any classified documents? Imagine knowing what we do about Trump, knowing what we did then about Trump, but certainly his conduct since, how that would have completely bollocked the job. Also, understand that, there's been this really hard drumbeat of criticism from many quarters about how long the department is taking. It's clear that what part of the long timeline now in Mar-a-Lago was where they worked this out. And there was eventually what the Washington Post article by Carol Leonnig and colleagues calls a tense standoff. I've been in these meetings. They are rare, they are tense, and they are nasty. And D'Antuono said, look, I'm not going to do it unless you make me, acknowledge. So just said, I'm the FBI. We won't do this unless you make me. And it went to Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, who made him. When he said to Garland, I signed off on this search right after it happened, that was really putting a little point on at what had been an internal, real tug of war and bureaucratic battle where they had to basically roll the FBI and say, yep, we're doing a search, and no, we're not going to let them know in advance. D'Antuono actually said, how will it look if, then people in their FBI jackets just show up at the residence of foreign president, and then, how would it look? It would look like a search, which is exactly what was merited and deserved with all his conduct. So there may be more to come here. The article lays out a whole long, summer of tension between the Bureau and DOJ. And, it's something that Garland, who I know some people think is meek and tentative himself, really had to put his foot down to make happen. And it's a damn good thing that he did. All right, there you have it. We'll see if more of the tension between the FBI and DOJ emerges with subsequent reporting. It has a tendency to do that when somebody gets a big scoop like this. If and when it does, we'll check it out. And if it merits, I'll be back to give you my 2 cents. Until then, talk to you later.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.